to a high-profile Western Sydney mayor has revealed he won't be running in the upcoming state election. Julia Bradley has the details from Fairfield Council Chambers. Julia, what has Frank Carbone said?
Well, Tom, we know there's been speculation for months already about whether the independent mayor for Fairfield, Frank Carbone, would run for a state seat at the upcoming New South Wales election. But we had that confirmation this morning that he is not going to be running for either Cabramatta or Fairfield, two safe Labor seats, because he said that he's had months of conversations with both Labor and the Coalition, and he didn't believe that the Coalition was promising enough investment for his local area. Now, I'm joined now by Frank Carbone. Frank, can you talk me through the reasons why you decided not to run for these seats?
Well, I think the main reason why people want to run for seats is actually to make a difference in the community. I mean, I'm already the mayor. I know people here. I love the community. And to say that I didn't love being the mayor is an understatement, because I do. So, but over a long period of time, I've had discussions now with Dominic Perrottet and with Chris Minns. Both great guys. Both want to do the best thing for the state. But I guess as someone who's local here, I want to do the best thing for this community. So I was willing to sacrifice my position as mayor and run for state if it meant that there was some serious commitments to improving the quality of life of people here in Fairfield, including the hospital. I mean, Fairfield is known as the fourth lowest CEFA index when it comes across the state. That means it actually has, when it comes to services, the lowest services of transport, education, and all that, and health, and so on and so on. So I was willing to make that commitment, especially in the last few weeks. I made that really clear to Dominic Perrottet that, look, at the end of the day, the thing that will convince me is investment in my community. That's what it's all about for me. And unfortunately, we didn't get any of that. So, and that's okay. I mean, they've got to make their decisions, I guess, but I've got to make my decisions in what's best for my community. I didn't want to be used as a political pawn by anybody. I was happy to be used if it meant that my community got funding, and that didn't happen. And it's not my job to actually become Chris Minns' nemesis or to give Dominic Perrottet the premiership. It's my job to actually provide services for my community, and I was willing to do that. They had the opportunity, and unfortunately they didn't take it.
You're pretty angry about Westinvest as well. You think your community missed out there?
Well, I don't think so. I know so. You only got to look at the figures. $1.6 billion. We represent 10% of the population out here in Western Sydney. We're going to be paying tolls like everybody else, and we've got 1% of the funding. If you look at all the marginal seats when it comes to Leppington, Riverstone, Camden, Penrith, Parramatta, they all got almost $200 million each. Some actually got over $200 million. Fairfield only got $26 million, despite having the same population and actually more population than some of those. But look, we didn't expect to get the most. I didn't want the government to pork barrel Fairfield. I just wanted the government to actually put the spotlight on Fairfield and say, okay, services need to be committed. We need to commit to them. And I think for me, the last straw was when he announced the $1.2 billion that actually went to Tweed Hospital and Concord Hospital. And we all want better services in hospitals. But those two hospitals have already been upgraded. Fairfield Hospital has never been upgraded. It's a level 3, which is the lowest you can get when it comes to health services. So I think the opposition, Dominic Perrottet had an opportunity. I was willing to sacrifice my position as mayor and do that if it meant that my community got resources. But wasn't going to be used as a political pawn by anybody just to outline their own needs.
Because Cabramatta is a safe Labor seat, if you were to run, that would essentially boost the Coalition's chances, but it would split the Labor vote. So here it's really Labor that will win out from this decision.
Well, if the community had elected me, because you can't presume that the community would have voted for me, but if I had won the seat and I had run in the seat, there's no doubt that would have given our area a lot of clout in determining that, and the Liberal Party is the only party that could have won out of that, because obviously it's currently a Labor seat. So having an independent there allows that person to actually decide who to vote for based on who gives the best resources to the area. Look, I don't think it's too much to ask. People would expect me to fight for them, and I wasn't going to sacrifice my position as the mayor unless it benefited my community. I made that really clear, and I left it until 10 a.m. this morning to see. But unfortunately, it seems that some people in the coalition decided that it was better to treat me mean to keep me keen, and that's not the case. That's not the way it works. You don't come and give something no one, that's what I heard, to force me to run, because that's not the way I work. I work on outcomes, on being able to make a big contribution to my community, and if they're not willing to contribute to my community, unfortunately, I'm not willing to contribute towards their endeavours.
Thanks. Thanks for your time, Frank. I appreciate it. And Frank's also told me that he's got up to 1,000 campaign posters that are already done up. So this has been a really big decision for him that he's had to make over the last few months. We know he was really instrumental in helping get independent MP for the seat of Fowler at a federal level over the line back in May. But this decision coming from him today is certainly one that will hurt the coalition's chances here and aid Labor's.